Chorus of Fairies from Iolanthe, which was one of Gilbert and Sullivan's most successful works, running for over a year at the Savoy Theatre in London. It's reassuring to know that even in the 1880s, W.S. Gilbert was having a pop at the House of Lords. Who knows what he'd make of the recent deal to retain 92 peers made between the Conservatives and the new Conservatives. The setting of the first act is Arcadia, the mythical world of the fairies. Iolanthe is a fairy who 25 years earlier had committed the capital offence of marrying a male mortal, a law which some radical feminists have failed to push through so far this century, I'm afraid. However, the Queen of the Fairies has very generously decided to commute Iolanthe's death sentence to lifelong exile on the condition she never sees her husband again. It might just have been simpler for him to get a job as a long-distance lorry driver. Before the separation, Iolanthe and her husband did manage to do what you have to do to produce a son, Strephon, who is top half fairy and bottom half mortal. He's an Arcadian shepherd, appropriately in love with a mortal shepherdess called Phyllis. She's in love with him too, but unaware of the fairy shirt human trousers split. Almost every other male character in Iolanthe has the hots for Phyllis too, who just happens to be a ward of court, her guardian being the Lord Chancellor. Very handily for the plot, at the start of the opera, the fairies persuade the Queen to pardon Iolanthe, and she returns to the fairy fold, introducing her son Strephon to his aunties. Here comes the moment when the Queen summons Iolanthe from exile at the bottom of a stream with the frogs, in conditions not dissimilar to any English seaside town in July.
From thy dark exile thou art summoned.
So, Iolanthe is reunited with everyone in fairyland. The Queen suggests to Strephon, with his quick fairy brain, that he should go into Parliament, but he's actually more interested in marrying Phyllis, despite the Lord Chancellor's ban. Or maybe because of it. You know how some blokes love a challenge. However, the Queen, whose philanthropy seems to be reaching manic proportions, agrees to help Strephon. We'll meet the Lord Chancellor and the peers in a minute, but first of all, let's meet the interesting only to themselves lovesick couple.
That fond meeting, when in joy I woke to find mine the heart within thee beating, mine the love that heart enshrined, mine the heart within thee beating, mine the love that heart enshrined. I the sculptor
embodiment of everything that's excellent. It has no kind of fault or flaw, and I, my lords, embody the law. The constitutional guardian, I of pretty young wards in Chancery, all very agreeable girls, and none over the age of 21. A pleasant occupation for a rather susceptible Chancellor. A pleasant occupation for a rather susceptible Chancellor. But though the compliment implied inflates me with legitimate pride, it nevertheless can't be denied that it has its inconvenient side. For I'm not so old and not so plain, and I'm quite prepared to marry again. But there'd be the deuce to pay the lords if I fell in love with one of my wards. Which rather tries my temper, for I'm such a susceptible Chancellor. Which rather tries the temper, for you're such a susceptible Chancellor. And everyone who marry a ward must come to me for my accord, and in my court I sit all day, giving agreeable girls away. With one for him, and one for he, and one for you, and one for ye, and one for thou, and one for thee, but never, oh never, a one for me. Oh, it is exasperating for a highly susceptible Chancellor. It is exasperating for a highly susceptible Chancellor.
At this point, the entire House of Lords is distracted by Phyllis and appeal to the Lord Chancellor to allow Phyllis to marry which one of them she chooses, imagining, I suppose, the poor old ducks that they're all in with an equal chance. Lord Tolola and Lord Mount Ararat, yes I know, announce they have persuaded Phyllis to present herself to the bar, but she shocks them all by telling them all that she intends to marry Strephon instead. Typical woman, eh? But the Lord Chancellor forbids it, like Lord Chancellors are wont to do.
And rarest, her origins lowly, it's true, but of birth and position I've plenty. I've rank and position for two, and blood and behavior for 20. Origins lowly, it's true, I've grammar and spelling for two, of birth and position I've plenty, with blood and behavior for 20. Of birth and position I've plenty, with blood and behavior for 20. Though the views of the house are diverged on every conceivable motion, all questions of party are merged in a frenzy of love and devotion. If you ask us distinctly to say which party we claim to belong to, we reply without doubt or delay, the party we're singing this song to. If you ask us distinctly to say, we reply without doubt or delay, the party we claim to belong to is the party we're singing this song to. The party we claim to belong to is the party we're singing this song to.
I'm very much refuse, but I'll stick to my pipes and my tables. I can spell all the words that I use, and my grammar's as good as my neighbours. As for birth, I was born like the rest. My behaviour is rustic but hearty, and I know when to turn for the best when I want a particular party. The station is none of the best. I suppose she was born like the rest. She knows where to look for my hearty when she wants a particular party. She knows where to look for my hearty when I It may not be, with grief my heart is riven. You waste your time on me, for my heart is given.
Given?
Yes, given.
And who has dared to brave our high displeasure, and thus defy our definite command?
'Tis I, young Strephon, mine this priceless treasure. Against the world, I claim my darling's hand. A shepherd I,
a shepherd he,
of Arcadai,
of Arcady,
betrothed are we,
betrothed are they,
and we to be
espoused today. A shepherd he, of Arcady, a shepherd he, of Arcady, betrothed are they, and mean to be espoused today. 'Neath this blow as the scalp dagger, though we momentarily stagger, in inch part proud are we innately, let's depart dignified and stately, let's depart dignified and stately, 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 dignified and stately.
Separated from Phyllis, distraught Strephon is comforted by his mum Iolanthe, but the peers and Phyllis watching misinterpret this encounter because Iolanthe only looks about 17. Yes, it's just a cross some of us 40-year-olds have to bear. Phyllis, having decided Strephon is unfaithful, after all his bottom half is the mortal half, decides she'll marry a peer after all. The Queen of Fairies, having temporarily lost her short-lived bout of altruism, retaliates by sending Strephon into Parliament.
Darkly looms the day, and all is dull and grey. To chase the gloom away, on thee I'll call.
What?
I think I heard him say that on a rainy day, to while the time away, on her he'd call.
You think we heard him say that on the rainy day, while the time away on her he called.
When tempests wreck thy bark, and all is drear and dark, if thou shouldst need an ark, I'll give thee one. What did she say?
I heard the minx remark she'd meet him after dark inside St. James's Park and give him one. She'd meet him after dark inside St. James's Park and give him one.
The prospect's not so bad, my heart so sore and sad, may very soon be glad as our sun. For when the sky is dark and tempest wreck his bark, if I should need an ox, she'll give me one. Give me one. Give me one.
Oh, shameless one, dreadful, nay, do not endeavour thy fault to dissemble, when parted forever. I worshipped him blindly, he worships another.
Attend to me kindly, this lady's my mother.
This lady's his what?
This lady's my mother.
This lady's his what? She says she's his mother.
What means this murder unseemly that shakes the listening earth?
The joke is good extremely and justifies our mirth.
This gentleman is seen with a maid of 17, a taking of his dolce far niente, and wonders he'd achieve, for he asks us to believe she's his mother and he's nearly 25.
Recollect yourself, I pray, and be careful what you say, as the ancient Romans said, Estine Iolanthe. For I really do not see how so young a girl could be the mother of a man of 25.
My lord, of evidence I have no dearth. She is, has been, my mother from my birth. In babyhood, upon her lap I lay, with infant food she moistened my clay. Had she withheld the succor she supplied, by hunger quelled your Strephon might have died. Had that refreshment been denied, indeed our Strephon might have died.
Had that refreshment been denied, indeed our Strephon might have died.
But as she's not his mother, it appears, why weep these hot unnecessary not law, should we so joyously rejoice because our Strephon did not die? Oh, rather let us pipe our eye, because our Strephon did not die.
That's very true, let's pipe our eye, because our Strephon did not die.
Oh, traitorous one, forever we must part. To one of you, my lords, I gave my heart.
Oh, Ratcha,
Hear me, Phyllis,
oh, Ratcha,
ere you leave me.
But you did deceive me.
Hear me, Phyllis,
You did deceive me.
not a word you did deceive her.
For riches and rank I do not long their pleasures of false and vain. I gave up the love of a lordly throne for the love of a simple swain. But now that simple swain's untrue, with a sorrowful heart I turn to you. A heart that's aching, quaking, breaking. A sorrowful heart's a want to do. The riches and rank that you befall are the only baits you use. So the richest and rankiest of you all my sorrowful heart shall choose. As none are so noble, none so rich as this couple of lords, I find a niche in my heart that's aching, quaking, breaking. For one of you two, and I don't care which. To you I give my heart so rich.
To which?
I do not care. To you I yield, it is my cause.
To whom?
I'm not aware. I'm yours for life if you purchase.
She's whose?
It's your affair. I'll be a countess, shall I not?
Of what?
I do not care.
Strephon's not to shame, Raven's in his wife, Countess is the title, yes, Countess the Not of what, and not of where, not of what, and not of
can I inactive see my fortunes fade? No, no,
Oh, no,
no, no.
oh, no.
Mighty protectress, hasten to my aid.
Why you want us, we don't know, but you summoned us and so left up all the little fairies to their usual training measure. To oblige you all our cares, tell us, pray, what is your pleasure?
The lady of my lovers will be talking to another.
Oh, fine, the Strephon is a rogue.
I tell her very plainly that the lady's my mother.
Talla-diddle, toll-on-lay.
She won't believe my statement and declares we must be parted, because on a career of double-dealing I have started that gives her answer one of these and leaves me broken-hearted.
Talla-diddle, toll-on-lay.
A cruel word to separate two lovers from each other.
Oh, fine, our Strephon's not a rogue.
You've done him justice, for the lady is his mother.
Talla-diddle, toll-on-lay.
That fable price may serve his turn as well as any other. I didn't see her face, but if they fondle one another, and she's but 17, I don't believe it was his mother. Taradiddle, taradiddle.
Toll-on-lay.
I have often had a use for a thoroughbred excuse of a sudden, which is English for repente. But of all I've ever heard, this is much the most absurd, for she's 17 and he is 5 and 20.
For she is 17 and he is only 5 and 20. All five, as reference as a rogue.
Now listen to me, for this paradox will be carried nobody at all contradicente. Her age upon the date of his birth was -8 if she's 17 and he is 5 and 20.
For she is 17 and he is only 5 and 20. Says she this is love, that is an utter bit of folly. Oh, fine, a shepherd's little rogue. Perhaps his brain is idle and he's very melancholy. Taradiddle, tom, bom, I wouldn't say a word that could be reckoned as injurious, but to find a mother younger than the son is very curious. And that's the kind of mother that is usually spurious. Taradiddle, tom, bom,
Go away, madam, I should say, madam, you obey, madam, shocking taste. It is rude, madam, to intrude, madam, with your brood, madam, brazen faced. You come here, madam, interfere, madam, with a peer, madam, I am one. You're aware, madam, what you dare, madam, so take care, madam, and be gone.
Let us stay, madam, I should say, madam, they display, madam, shocking taste. It is rude, madam, to allude, madam, to look rude, madam, brazen faced. We don't fear, madam, any clear, madam, don't be dear, madam, this is one. They will stare, madam, when aware, madam, what they dare, madam, what they do.
Bearded by these puny mortals, I will launch from fairy portals all the most terrific thunders in my armory of wonders.
Should they launch terrific wonders, all of them repent their blunders. Beside these puny mortals,
this is rude,
I will launch from fairy portals.
Your tongue to teach respectful speech, your attitude to vary, your badinage so airy, your manner arbitrary, are out of place when face to face with an influential fairy.
We were talking to an influential fairy.
A plague on this vagary, I'm in a nice quandary. Of hasty tone with dames unknown, I ought to be more chary. It seems that she's a fairy from Anderson's library, and I took her for the proprietor of a ladies' seminary.
For the proprietor of a ladies' seminary.
When next your houses do assemble, you may tremble.
Our wrath when gentlemen offend us is tremendous. They meet who underrate our calling, doom appalling.
Take down our sentence as we speak it, and he shall wreak it. Henceforth strip and cast away crooks and pipes and ribbons so gay, flocks and herds that bleat and low. Into Parliament you shall go.
Into Parliament he shall go, backed by the supreme authority. He'll command a large majority. Into Parliament, Parliament, Parliament he shall go. Into Parliament he shall go. Into Parliament, Parliament he shall go. Into Parliament he shall go.
In the parliamentary hive, liberal or conservative, or new Labour, I don't know, but into Parliament you shall go.
Into Parliament he shall go, backed by our supreme authority. He'll command a large majority. Into Parliament, 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 we shall go. Into Parliament we shall go. Into Parliament, Parliament, he shall go. Into Parliament he shall go.
Bill and every measure that may gratify his pleasure, though your fury it arouses, shall be passed by both your houses. You shall sit, if he sees reason, through the grouse and salmon season. He shall pass a right to roam through estates that you call home. He shall put in his red boxes bills to outlaw hunting foxes. Sons of yours shall not inherit seats which he'll award on merit. Birth shall be a test too random for a duke's exalted station. Now it will be open to competitive examination.
So, at the end of Act 1, the peers are pretty cheesed off with the fairies. Not only have the fairies sent Strephon to Parliament, they've cast a spell to make MPs vote for any bill that he introduces, including one to throw the peerage open to competitive examination. Intelligence triumphing over class? No chance. The peers, funnily enough, aren't too keen on this idea, which has probably taken them some time to grasp. They think the House of Lords is the greatest institution in Britain. It is, if you fancy a snooze.
When Britain really ruled the waves in good Queen Bess's time, the House of Peers made no pretence to intellectual eminence or scholarship sublime. Yet Britain won her proudest praise in good Queen Bess's glorious days. Yet Britain won her proudest praise in good Queen Bess's glorious days. Yes, Britain won her proudest praise in good Queen Bess's glorious days. When Wellington threshed Bonaparte, as every child can tell, the House of Peers throughout the war did nothing in particular, and did it very well. Yet Britain set the world ablaze in good King George's glorious days. Yet Britain set the world ablaze in good King George's glorious days. Yes, Britain set the world ablaze in good King George's glorious days. And while the House of Peers withholds its legislative hand, and noble statesmen do not itch to interfere in matters which they do not understand, as bright will shine Great Britain's rays as in King George's glorious days. As bright will shine Great Britain's rays as in King George's glorious days. As bright will shine Great Britain's rays as in King George's glorious days.
The peers appeal to the fairies to return things to normal and stop Strephon's radical ideas. In a bit of a turn-up for the books, however, all the fairies have fallen in love with the peers. Some sort of mass hysteria, I suppose, or a group big wallet attraction. The Queen gives the fairies a verbal dressing down for their feminine weakness, but then admits she's going weak at the knees for a Grenadier Guard. Touch of the pot calling the kettle black, I'd say. But she's got her feelings under control, imagining her hosed down by the London Fire Brigade and their chief, Captain Shaw, a well-known Victorian ladies' man.
Oh, foolish fay, think you because his bravery my bosom force, I'd disobey her fairy laws, because I fly in realms above. dare not say so. This heart of mine is soft as thine, although I dare not say so. On fire that glows with heat intense, I turn the hose of common sense, and out it goes at small expense. We must maintain a fairy law, that is the main on which to draw. In that we gain a captain sure. In that we gain a captain sure. Oh, Captain Shaw, type of true love kept under. Could thy brigade with cold cascade quench my great love, I wonder. Captain Shaw, type of true love kept under. Could thy brigade with cold cascade quench my great love, I
And now, even the Lord Chancellor has fallen for his ward, Phyllis. He's having sleepless nights. Still, always the chance to catch up on a bit of shut-eye at work.
Love unrequited robs me of my rest. Love, hopeless love, my ardent soul encumbers. Love, nightmare-like, lies heavy on my chest and weaves itself into my midnight slumber. When you're lying awake with a dismal headache and repose is tabooed by anxiety, I conceive you may use any language you choose to indulge in without impropriety. For your brain is on fire, the bedclothes conspire of usual slumber to plunder you. First your counterpane goes and uncovers your toes, and your sheet sips demurely from under you. Then the blanketing tickles, you feel like mixed pickles, so terribly sharp is the pricking. And you're hot and you're cross and you tumble and toss till there's nothing twixt you and the ticking. Then the bedclothes all creep to the ground in a heap and you pick 'em all up in a tangle. Next your pillow resigns and politely declines to remain at its usual angle. Well, you get some repose in the form of a dose with hot eyeballs and head ever aching. But your slumbering teams are such horrible dreams that you very much better be waking. For you dream you're crossing the channel and tossing about in a steamer from Harwich, which is something between a large bathing machine and a very small second-class carriage. And you're giving a treat, penny ice and cold meat, to a party of friends and relations. They're a ravenous horde, and they all came on board at Sloane Square and South Kensington Station. And bound on that journey, you find your attorney who started that morning from Devon. He's a bit undersized, and you don't feel surprised when he tells you he's only 11. Well, you're driving like mad with this singular lad. By the ship's now a four-wheeler. And you're playing around games, and he calls you bad names when you tell him the tie's by the dealer. But this you can't stand, you throw up your hand and you find you're as cold as an icicle. In your shirt and your socks, the black silver go clocks crossing Salisbury Plain on a bicycle. And he and the crew are on bicycles too, which they've somehow or other invested in. And he's telling the tars all the particulars of a company he's interested in. It's a scheme of devices to get at low prices or good some clock pictures to cables, which tickled the sailors by treating retailers as though they were all vegetables. You get a good spadesman to plant a small tradesman, first take off his boots with a bootery, and his legs will take root and his fingers will shoot, and they'll blossom and bud like a fruit tree. From the greengrocer tree you get grapes and green pea, cauliflower, pineapple and cranberries, while the pastry could plant cherry, brandy, milk, grand apple, puffs and three-quarters and banberries. The shares are a penny and ever so many are taken by Rothschild and Baring, and just as a few were allotted to you, you awake with a shudder, despairing. You're a regular wreck with a crick in your neck, and no wonder you snore for your head on the floor, and new needles are pins in your soldations, and your flesh is a creep where your left is a teeth, and you cramp in your toes, and a fly in your nose, it's a fluff in your lung, and a feverish tongue, and a thirst, and a general sense that you haven't been sleeping in clover. But the darkness is past, and it's daylight at last, and the night has been long, ditto, ditto, my song. And thank goodness they're both of them over.
Pulling himself together, the Lord Chancellor, with the support of Lords Mount Ararat and Tolola, declares he will marry lucky old Phyllis.
If you go in, you're sure to win. Yours will be the charming maid. Be your lord, the ancient saw. Faint heart never won fair lady. Never, never, never. Faint heart never won fair lady. Every journey has an end. When at the worst affairs will mend. Guard the ball when day is nigh. Hustle your horse and don't say die. He who shies at such a prize is not worth a man of lady. Be so kind to bear in mind, faint heart never won fair lady. Never, 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 faint heart never won fair lady. While the sun shines many a peg, where a will is there's a way. Be it the lion in his lair, and but the brave deserve the fair.
I'll take heart and make a start, though I fear the prospect shady. Much I'd spend to gain my end. Faint heart never won a fair lady. Never, never, never. Faint heart never won fair lady.
Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round.
Gradually, like a showdown on Big Brother, the truth begins to emerge. Despite leading both parties in Parliament, surely every Prime Minister's dream, Strephon declares he's broken-hearted at being separated from Phyllis. He confesses his half-man, half-fairy status, which clears up Phyllis's young mum, young grandma jealousy problem, and they decide to marry immediately. They ask Iolanthe to appeal to the Lord Chancellor. Not difficult, as every woman within a 10-mile radius seems to appeal to the Lord Chancellor. However, this is at some risk to Iolanthe. Confused? Me too.
My lord, a suppliant at your feet I kneel. Oh, listen to a mother's fond
it may not be, for so the fates decide. Learn thou that Phyllis is my promised bride.
No, no.
It shall be so. Those who would separate us woe betide.
My doom thy lips have spoken. I plead in vain. A vow already broken, I break again. For him, for her, for thee, I yield my life. Behold, it may not be. I am my wife.
Iolanthe, thou livest.
I live. Now let me die. Once again thy bows are broken. Thou thyself thy doom hast spoken. Bow thy head to destiny, death thy doom, and thou shalt die.
Oh, I see. Iolanthe is the Lord Chancellor's missus, so bad luck, she's under sentence of death. Again. But so are all the other fairies who have meanwhile married all the peers. What a bloodbath of a finale that could have been. Except the good old Lord Chancellor comes to the rescue by changing fairy law with one word. Every fairy who does not marry a mortal shall be bumped off, etc., etc. And thus we arrive at the obligatory happy ending. The Queen marries a Grenadier Guard, Private Willis, to avoid the small matter of execution, and all the peers are transformed into fairies and fly away to fairyland, obviously giving rise to the phrase that most of the House of Lords are away with the fairies. The House of Lords is left to be filled with people of intelligence rather than hereditary aristocrats. As Buddy Holly said, that'll be the day.
Soon as we may, off and away, we'll commence our journey. Very happy are we, as you can see. Everyone is now a fairy. Everyone is now a fairy.
the sky, ever so high. Pleasures come in endless series. We will arrange happy exchange. House of peers for house of peers.
Peers, 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 house of peers for house of peers. Up in the air, sky high, free from wars in Chancery. I will be surely happier, for he's such a susceptible Chancellor. Up in the air, sky high, free from wars in Chancery. He will be surely happier, for he's such a susceptible Chancellor.
And they all live happily ever after, the fairies. Gilbert and Sullivan's Iolanthe was performed by a cast of leading British singers. Sarah Connolly as Iolanthe, Claire Rutter as Phyllis, William Daisley as Strephon, Richard Seward was the Lord Chancellor, Anne-Marie Owens, the Queen of the Fairies, John Graham Hall was Lord Tololla, Ashley Holland, Lord Mount Ararat, and Jonathan Vera was Private Willis. The BBC singers were the Chorus of Fairies and Peers, accompanied by the BBC Concert Orchestra, and the conductor was Jane Glover. On Saturday, the Proms season comes to a close in its usual spectacular way with the last night's celebrations. You can see and hear it all live on BBC Television and Radio 3. And you can join in the traditional singing and flag waving here on BBC One at 9 o'clock. That's next Saturday. But from me, Jo Brand, from the Royal Albert Hall, good night.
When